Welcome back to the serious business of pleasure and play. I'm your host, Aria Skydancer, and I hope you deeply enjoy your time here and that you're inspired by these wise, skilled, and passionate leaders in the field of embodiment. Today, I'm honored to be talking with Bex Burton. Bex is a coach, teacher, and artist who helps midlife women strengthen their bodies, deepen romantic connection, and express themselves with radiant authenticity. With 20 years of Pilates expertise, 10 years of relationship coaching, and a lifetime of creative pursuits, she blends functional movement, relational education, and image consultation to support those feeling lost and invisible in midlife in reclaiming their strength, style, and connection inside and out. Bex believes that living joyfully is a radical act of rebellion, and she specializes in helping women move through the world with confidence, expressiveness, and deeply rooted self worth. Join the joyful rebellion and discover what it feels like to live fully, playfully, and unapologetically yourself. Oh, I love all of that so much. I already feel more joyful and alive just reading that. Hi, Bex. Thank
Hi,
you
Aria.
so
Thank you
much
so
for
much for
joining.
having me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. So, right off the bat, um, I would love to ask, what is a joyful rebellion? And then give us a little bit of your backstory to help us see how you came to this work that you do, this beautiful work that you do.
Sure, happy to. Oh, joyful rebellion. Well, as with any rebellion, we are operating against the status quo. And right now, in our the status quo could be our global status quo, it could be our personal status quo. In the world today, our status quo is high conflict and adversity, and bringing joy and living with joy, in my opinion, is a radical act of rebellion. And on a personal level, our joyful rebellion is shedding the programming that has shaped us, shedding the programming that has kept us small,
Mm.
a reclamation of who we are before the world shaped us, before we were fed information about who we should be,
Mm.
and the path that shape has led us down. So I work with people pleasers who are in recovery or breaking the people pleasing habits. Women who at a certain point in life are no longer willing to um, be appeasing or small or um, uh, abandoning themselves for the scripts that were offered to them and that they have been living by for how many years. Um, a reclamation of the parts of us that we've exiled. I know for myself as a creative, my creativity was supported as a young child. And then when it came to the point in life to discuss my future plans, my parents were who, came from a life of poverty and scarcity, wanted the very best for their children. And so they guided me in the very best way that they saw fit. But that was an ushering away from creativity out of fear that creativity would not sustain a life for me. Um, so a joyful rebellion is that point in time where we say no to that and we decide to tap into our inner compass and our inner truth and really bring those parts of ourselves home into alignment. And the path forward is with harmony, harmony with ourselves, harmony in how we express ourselves, harmony and truth in how we relate with others. And, this is a reflection of the path that I've walked. It's a reflection of the path that I support my clients with. Your second question, how did I get to this point? Well, I think it's a choice that I make every single day, honestly.
Mm.
I mentioned the my my upbringing as a creative person, I was very much into playing dress up and creating fashion magazines and dressing up and dancing and um, making jewelry and making art and acting and playing music and all these wonderful creative outlets. And I studied communication in my higher education. It was a fierce negotiation between my family and I about what my future plans would be. And while I very much appreciate my communications education, I have had to spend a lot of time in bringing the parts of myself home that I was trained to believe were not valuable. And a lot of that was my creativity. A lot of that is my voice, my needs, my desires. And I think a lot of women are in this position of having been programmed or trained to be small, to not trust themselves, not to believe that their needs and desires either don't matter or are harmful in some way. And the truth is that those are the very things that make us alive and vibrant human beings. Um, when I when I went into higher education, I did abandon my creativity for some time, and it took a little while for me to return to it. And then I became voraciously creative. For a while, I was a performer. My tools of choice with dance were hula hoops. I choreographed and produced multiple large group hula hoop dance performances for New York City festivals, events, and parades. Um, and I've also taught roller skate dance. I've also reclaimed the part of me that loves to dress up and play with color. And these are the elements that really have brought me back to life. I started a business in 2015, and after some early success, I hit a wall, and I thought that breaking through that wall meant working harder, working longer hours. And that really just drove me further into the ground. I suffered burnout. I suffered a spell of depression. And the tools that brought me back to life are some of the tools that I work with clients today. And that reclamation of who we were before the world shaped us is that joyful rebellion.
Mhm. I love that so much. It's so interesting how your parents they wanted the best for you. They they really did. They did that out of love, and they wanted. And ironically, you needed to reclaim your joy and all of that passion from your childhood, in order to really be the successful, fully alive, expressive person that you are.
Mhm.
And I feel like that is something so many of us can relate to. Um, and I love the hoop dancing and the roller skating and the dress up. Like, oh my gosh, I can just see your inner child just loving that you're circling back around to these passions that she so adored.
Absolutely.
Those that authentic, playful, alive expression that you had, and now you have woven it into your adult career. I love that so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you work with color and style in your work in your coaching with people. Can you tell us why color and style, and why are those what you've called foundational elements for living a joyful life? I'm just so fascinated. So fascinated with this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as I mentioned, I loved playing dress up as a kid. I had a bag of my mother's gowns, prom gowns, and I think there may have even been some of my grandmother's pieces. I still have some of my grandmother's jewelry. But as a kid, I would play dress up in these clothing, the clothing. When I was a kid, there was a toy called fashion plates that was
Yes.
these like plastic little templates that you would
Yes.
trace with, and I would I would make so many of these and color them in with colored pencils, and I'd staple them and make these magazines. And I would write about the women. I would write these little stories about Monica, who is studying at university, and she likes to wear these colors and why. And I had kind of archived a lot of that information until I was sort of in my own joyful rebellion and kind of coming back from depression. And I had discovered color work. And color work is based on harmonizing the colors that we wear, the colors that we surround ourselves with, the colors of our natural beauty, our hair, our skin, our eyes. Color work is so powerful. It even brought me out of decades of being bleach blonde into my natural hair color because it's a sign of authenticity. It's not knocking coloring our hair at all, but for me it was a powerful choice in reclaiming like who I really am. Um, and the color work to me is an opportunity for us to really see ourselves represented not only in our closet, but also in the colors that we surround ourselves with. Um, Color harmony, we look at, like I said, the colors of our hair, our skin, and our eyes. And from that combination, each and every one of us has a unique color palette where the colors that we choose really create harmony with our natural coloring. Whereas some other colors can create distortion or distraction or take away from our natural beauty. When we wear our harmonious color palette, it's we others will see us before they see our clothing. And our clothing is just really the frame around the natural picture of our beauty. And the reason why, for me, in my opinion, this is so foundational in reclamation work, in authenticity work, is because our style is our identity. It's identity work. It's who we are. It's one of the first things that people see. Sure, they see us, but they see the whole package. And how we present ourselves, especially as public facing individuals, whether we're a coach, a teacher, a mentor, or healer, an entrepreneur. Our presentation is really a reflection of our inner working, our inner selves, and our relationship with ourselves. And so I love working with people and identifying their harmonious color palette, their signature colors, and then building wardrobes around that. Either building wardrobes or editing, curating their closet around these colors, not only their colors, but also the shapes and patterns that really further highlight our natural beauty. We can really drill down the shape of our patterns according to the shape of and size of our facial features. We can shape the textures of our closet according to how much texture we have in our hair, for example. So
Wow.
there's a very deep rabbit hole that we could dive into around it. But when it comes down to it, I keep coming back to the phrase of dressing like ourselves. When I open my closet in the morning, I look at the closet and it looks like me. The colors that are there are represented in the pigment of my cheeks, the pigment of my lips, the coloring of my eye, and not only the color of my eye, but the multiple colors of my eye. If we haven't looked at our eye color up close ever or in a long time, it's worth a second look because our eyes contain multitudes. There are so many shades in our eyes, our color alone to draw from. And those colors, all of those colors represent different energies. And we can infuse those energies into any interaction that we have, whether it's an interview like this or a job interview to a heartfelt conversation with our partner or somebody that we want to be our partner. There's colors of connection, there's colors of celebration, colors of impact, and many more, grounding colors. And when we understand not only what those color energies are, but what our specific colors are, we can really curate an entire wardrobe. We can curate an entire life around these colors that feels harmonious and supports us in the work that we're doing, the connections that we're building, and the life that we ultimately are creating.
That is absolute. My mind is blown. I had no idea. I really had no idea.
It's a
I love
rabbit
it
hole.
so much. Wow. So I love this image you have of looking in your closet and seeing yourself by
Yeah,
looking at the colors and the textures. I'm imagining it's like this reflection. Um, it's just having our essence maybe reflected back to us in our clothing, and like you said, our surroundings too. I'm imagining, just like you have this beautiful background, I'm imagining that you designed this based on your own harmonious colors and textures.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my color, the wall color behind me is my skin tone, which is a
Wow.
color of intimacy and connection. The only colors in my background that are not necessarily in my color palette are the bright pom-poms. They, but they bring so much whimsy, and and that's another element of color work is once we know the rules, we can break them. Um,
Yeah.
but you mentioned a really important word is essence. And our personality and our ways of being come into play here too. And maybe not necessarily in the color work, but in our style. And that can also feed into the kinds of patterns that we choose, the shapes of garments that we choose, and the combinations of things that we create. And so I have a lot of whimsy, a lot of a lot of playful rascal in my essence, and so the pom poms kind of reflect that.
I love that. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if it's the Gemini in me or I don't know what it is, but I I tend to have lots of polar elements in my personality. I can be like really shy and
Sure.
quiet, and I can be just boisterous and mischievous and irreverent.
Yes, irreverence, one of my favorite words.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, so I have a question about, so you mentioned part of this is being representative of like our authenticity, our essence for the outward, for the outside world. So they're seeing us, but how does it feel inside
Mm.
whenever we do this, whenever we are dressing more harmoniously or expressive of our essence?
Yeah, the best way that I can describe it is alignment, alignment and harmony. Those are well, three words really: alignment, harmony, and balance. And those are words that really carry through the different modalities that I work with. This sense of congruence between our inner and outer world. And when we can match our wardrobe and the things that we're wearing to our identity, it feels like a coming home. It feels like a landing in a soft place. And from that place of alignment and inner harmony and balance, that is where we can go out into the world and be of the highest service, or come to our partner and create the deepest, most honest connection, where we can show up to our bodies and have, again, the most honest connection and relate with ourselves in this really deep and connected way, through movement, through connection, through style. For me, it's really about creating alignment and balance and harmony.
That's absolutely fascinating to me. I can't say that enough. Like this dress, I've never thought of, well, at least not consciously, thought of style and color as being like an embodied practice that helps us come back home to ourselves. That's just really fascinating to me. I have a
Yeah,
question about, we all have um, maybe parts that need a little coaxing, like, oh, I know I have this part of me, and I wish that I could like make that part of me feel a little bit more comfortable in its expression, maybe come out more. Like I'm working with being visible
Mhm.
during the summit. I'm being, and that's not the part of me that leads, usually. So I'm wondering if could I use your work to bring that part of me out? Or is just doing this kind of a natural way to bring all the parts out?
That's such a great question. The answer is yes, all of that and more. And first of all, to uh, reflecting back on our conversation just a moment ago, the color of your scarf is a perfect color for your visibility. It matches the color of the outer ring of your iris, which is a slightly darker bluish green than your bright, sparkly eyes. So you are wearing one of your colors of impact, which is a perfect way of stepping into visibility. And it's I think it's sort of a meeting it halfway. And what I mean by that is you asked if color work is a way of calling out different parts of ourselves, and it absolutely is. And what I mean by meeting us halfway is that I think we take the leap into color work, and color work meets us halfway.
Mm.
So we have to be willing to step out of our comfort zone, which for many of us is the black sweatshirt, the gray sweatpants, the many shades
Yes.
of gray in between.
Yes.
And not to fault anybody for choosing black and gray. I mean, for some people, that is squarely in your palette and can be a really strong neutral for you. Gray is, in fact, one of my strong neutrals. And then my eye color is a very bluish gray that I'm wearing today. Um, but and it's very easy to choose these colors, to choose your blacks and your grays, because we walk into any store and there's an abundance of that option available. So it takes a little bit of courage to step into color work. It takes courage to wear head to toe pink or red, whatever your palette dictates. Um, and then as we start to embrace more and more color work, we are calling forth those parts of ourselves that may have been left dormant, or we may have exiled in consciously or unconsciously. But I really feel like it's like approaching it from two separate directions. We have to kind of meet color, and then color meets us to serve the higher purpose.
Oh, I love that. And I have to say, just the moment of you talking about my color of impact and the color of my eyes, I felt so seen. I was like, oh, and there was this part of me that just felt giddy, like, oh, so I know working with you, I can already tell that working with you is so powerful and really does, um, I'm guessing help people just feel really seen and ignite that playfulness and that joy.
Yeah, and the way that you just felt seen is so beautiful, and that's such a reflection of this work. Because this is the goal is for you to see yourself in the way that I see you, for you to see these small details that
Yeah.
contribute to your natural beauty, that you may have always known about, but may not have seen in this way. And the same thing goes for when we talk about hair color, when we talk about your skin pigmentation. We start to see ourselves in this whole new light. And ideally, we're starting to see what makes us really truly unique and beautiful.
I love that so much.
Mm.
Just having someone like point out all the little colors in your eyes, we all want that, right? We all
Yeah.
want that.
Yeah, and what's great about having that color palette, then, when we get into our closet, or even shopping becomes a more joyful, playful experience, because we're sort of eliminating the noise, eliminating the static and the distraction of what doesn't work.
Mm,
Our vision is now honed for the colors that are harmonious and what does work. And then we become artists, and our closet becomes a palette that we can start mixing colors with, and start playing with. Um, and and for the people that don't enjoy shopping, there are people like me that really love it and can help you out with that.
me. I love that aspect of it too.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah,
come
shopping
shop
for
with
me is
me.
like playing with a full like 128 box of crayons. I'll discover a new brand or something and I'll be looking through garments and jewelry and shoes and we'll just start pinning things for different clients because I see their vision, I see who they are becoming, who they've shared with me. They are becoming, they're stepping into the vision of themselves for this next season of life that they're entering, for this next iteration of the relationship they're in, um, for the next iteration of the professional that they are becoming, or maybe they've been promoted, or maybe they've just celebrated an anniversary or a divorce. And there's a rebirthing of ourselves in these life transitions where we are, we're no longer who we were. Of course, we carry all of that with us, but we're always evolving, we're always growing. And especially in midlife, we're absolutely shedding the skins of the things that have kept us small in the past and stepping into this greater iteration of ourselves. And our wardrobe should reflect that, especially if we're still dressing like we're in our 20s or in college. And the time is now to make that upgrade in the way that we express ourselves.
Yes. Yeah, I can imagine that there could be an evolution of like bringing some of the same elements, but maybe in a more evolved way as you grow, as you age. And
Yeah.
um, I'm wondering, I'm just so curious. We don't have time for all my questions, but I do wonder, like, what if I said like a genre, like like, I want to put more punk into my wardrobe,
Yeah.
but I want it to be also elegant, things like that. Like, do you
Oh,
work with
sure. Oh, I love the archetype mashup. I love an archetype mashup. So I work with about 8 different style archetypes, ranging from classic, which would be like your Meghan Markles, your Kate Middletons, very tailored, fitted suits, clean lines, really high quality fabrics, luxury, um, to, what you're describing. I want to bring more punk into my wardrobe. That would be your edgy archetype, where maybe you've got some, spikes on your collar or some leather mixed in there.
Yeah.
So if we were going to mash you up, let's see, what did you say? You said, I want to be punk with a little
With
bit
of elegance, a little bit of
of
elegance.
elegance. Okay, so elegance could be the classic archetype. Elegance could also be the romantic archetype. Romantic archetype is a little bit more flowy with like maybe ruffles and
That's
empire
it.
waists and
Yes, that's
chiffon. Yeah, okay.
it.
A romantic, an edgy romantic. Yeah, I love that. I'm a classic bohemian, so I go classic with like the world vibe of like a lot of my jewelry is world and cultural influenced. But then I also like a blazer sometimes, So for you, yeah, we would put you in like a really beautiful floral, probably with some of the colors that you're wearing, floral with maybe a little bit of a ruffle and a goddess sandal with maybe a leather jacket that's got some
Oh my
studs on the
God, I'm
shoulder.
so excited just listening to us on that. Yes, let's go shopping soon.
Right. Well, see, and this is, and I love what's happening for you right now because just even dreaming up this mythical outfit,
Yeah.
we're having so much fun. We're
Yeah.
playing. We're mashing up, archetypes that, may not talk together on the street. But boy, when we start playing with these garments and we put them together, and I think that this is what trips a lot of people up with style is that like these things don't necessarily make sense in my mind. But when we actually put them together on your body and, in your color palette, we're creating something new. We're creating something that's like uniquely your own.
Yes.
And again, this is where the identity piece comes in. When we're dressing like how we feel inside, when we're dressing for our natural beauty, we're really like creating this inner harmony and that just makes us feel at home in our body and it makes us feel like we are who we are and it supports so many things in our life from the way that we show up at work to the way that we relate with our partner.
I love that so much. It's like I'm not going to leave parts of me behind. I want to bring them forward. I want to. love all of me.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
are welcome. All are welcome.
I love that. Oh, so you did take me. I wanted to ask you what process you guide your clients through, but you've kind of done a lot of that with me. But is there anything else you want to talk about the process that you take your clients through?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of the work that I do with style in particular, whether it's a joyful rebellion or just style on its own, joyful rebellion is a harmony of working with the body, working with the style, the closet, as well as working in our relationships,
Mm.
primary relationship. But all of that begins with a color analysis. And we look at your hair color, your skin color, your eye color. We create that unique palette for you. And then from there, we can go in a number of different directions depending on what the client needs. If it's somebody that has an abundant closet, she has so many things hanging in her closet, some of them even still have tags on them. I have a shop your closet experience where we maximize what you already own. There's we often fall into the trap. I fall into the trap personally. I'm guilty of this. I was looking at dresses yesterday. But we fall into the trap of believing that we need more when in fact we often have exactly what we need. So we go through a play date where we sit together and you pull out this gorgeous ruffled flowy chiffon dress that fits your romantic archetype. And because I know that you are romantic and edgy, we've talked about that in your intake. um, I'll ask you, do you have a leather jacket? Do you have a combat boot that we can pair this with? And so we start taking the things that you have already existing in your closet and putting together unique looks that maybe you haven't thought of putting together. For that client, we're also paring down the excess in the process.
Mm.
For other clients who are needing to build, we can build a capsule wardrobe that is, a limited number of pieces, 20 to 30 pieces that all harmonize with each other, easy for travel, and all fit in one closet, which a lot of women don't have that. A lot of women have like several different places that they house their clothes throughout their home. So there's many different ways of getting to the same outcome, and it all starts with color. It also the beginning of the process also includes an interview, a very candid interview around what your vision is and who you are becoming. And from that conversation, we identify what your style archetypes are. And oftentimes it's not going to be just one, it's going to be a blend of many. I also work with measurements. So we look at your proportions and we maximize your proportions so that you're, again, creating harmony and balance. It's not about fixing or changing your body shape because our body shape is with us for life. That body shape doesn't change whether we gain or lose 20 pounds. We're looking at creating harmony and balance in what you have. So if you're a little bit bigger on the bottom, we create a little bit more volume on top. I mean, who doesn't love an epaulette or studded shoulders? I keep coming back to these studded shoulders. I think there's something there. Um, but in and the goal of the entire process is to have fun, to be playful, and to gently explore the things that come up for us in that process. I'll hear from clients, I could never wear that color, or I would never put these two pieces together. And that for me is like the best feedback because then that invites the question, oh, well, tell me more about that. Why is that?
Yeah.
And that's where the stories come up. That's where the self-limiting beliefs, the programming that we've held for a lifetime, and that's where we start breaking those chains and really stepping into our authenticity.
I love that so much. So you do all of this with color and style, but it's deep. It's deep, and you also include relationship coaching with
Hmm.
that.
Yeah,
And what else do you do in your coaching? There's relationships, and how else do
and
you?
movement.
And movement.
And
Oh
movement, yeah.
my,
Yeah,
wow.
if we're not moving our body, we're not moving our energy. You of all people know this very deeply and intimately.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and this is the product of being a multi-passionate. I've been a creative my whole life. I've worked in movement for 25 years. I've spent 11 years as a relationship coach. And as an artist, I've just developed this deep affinity for color and style work. And for a long time, I wasn't able to put these pieces together until midlife hit me like a ton of bricks. And, again, like I said, these are the tools that have helped me, come out of my shell or the shell that I put myself in, alongside mental health support and HRT and all of the medical aspects of midlife support. But these are sort of the energetic aspects of midlife support that we don't always think about. We might feel like we're stuck or we're in a rut or where did I go? How did I shrink so small in my relationship or in my career? And these are the elements that really help us get back on our feet and come back to life.
I love that so much. It's very much like the piecing together of the blending of the archetypes.
Hmm.
You have done that with your career. You've
Yeah.
blended
Oh,
all of these aspects that are
thank
very
you.
important to you, and you've managed to create a beautiful body of work to serve people.
Thank you. I
Amazing.
appreciate that. Yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. And the joy for me is really the transformation in the clients that I work with. Just seeing her in a new curated outfit or hearing that the couple, the conflict, there's always going to be conflict, but the comeback rate is shorter. And these are the signs of success that really warm my heart. Knowing that we're developing the skills to be more authentic, to be more honest with ourselves and be more honest with our partners so that we can really have harmonious relationships, harmonious self-expression and feel strong and confident in who we are.
That's amazing. I think this is going to be mind-blowing for a lot of people in our audience that color and style can be a strong aspect in actually serving us with our, not only our work, but also like our relationships. That I
Yeah.
think that's going to be mind-blowing. And I love that. I love that. And so before we leave, can you tell us about the free gift you have?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a primer for anybody who wants to start dressing like themselves. It's a step-by-step system to take an honest look at your own natural beauty and to identify what your color type might be. And if we get stuck in that process, I'm here to help. But it'll give you steps to take an honest look at your hair color, your eye color, your skin tone, and start piecing together the colors of your unique palette that are going to be harmonious with you and make you feel like yourself.
Oh, that's amazing. What a wonderful gift. I hope the audience really enjoys that, has fun with it, and checks out your work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, Bex. I've thoroughly enjoyed this.
Thank you, Aria. Thanks for being part of the Joyful Rebellion.
Oh, I love it. Thank you.